Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Network, and man, I am really hyped for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Bringing in the champion, seemingly being a canonical story, filling in the gaps and mysteries from events of 100 years before Breath of the Wild. It is truly Zelda fans' dream come true, and as someone who has put a lot of hours into both Breath of the Wild and the first Hyrule Warriors, and even double dipping for the definitive edition on the Switch, I can't hold back my excitement. No, it won't be crazy time traveling crossover adventure that the first one was, but that is okay because we're getting lore. And really, that is one of the biggest missteps of Breath of the Wild. So many holes from 100 years ago. With the announcement, we got confirmation that not only do we have basically just 2 months before we get the game, which I am loving the shorter time from announcement to release, but we would get more information on the game on September 26th. See, this is a rarity anymore. The last few announcements and even the Mario Direct were shadow dropped, which on one hand has helped with expectations and keeping them in check and so forth. On another hand, prediction videos are becoming much more rare, unless someone does one based off a rumor and hopes for the best, which I saw quite a few Summer Direct prediction videos on YouTube, which, yeah, those aged well. Anyways, this is a chance to go over my thoughts and predictions for what will come in Hyrule Warriors The Age of Calamity, not just from September 26th announcement, but in general. First off, as mentioned, this won't be a grand crossover disturbing the fabric of time and space to bring together many of Link's allies from different games. This is a story that does have restrictions being 100 years in the past of Breath of the Wild, so to go along with that story, they can only really do certain characters. Obviously, we got Link, Zelda, Urbosa, Mipha, Daruk, Rivali, and that mini guardian thing that sort of looks like a turret from Portal. I mean, it might not be a character, but that'd actually be pretty cool. And with it being on the cover, it has to have some sort of significance to the plot, right? Other characters I can see being playable is a younger Impa, as we saw a brief glimpse of here. Even the King of Hyrule could be a fighter. I mean, we had the King from Wind Waker, why not this one? Beyond that, I can see some new characters, but perhaps based on ones known from Breath of the Wild. Like Koga, the leader of the Yuga clan, a descendant of his, still in the same garb, could be a fighter. Maybe King Dauphin of the Zora, Prince Sidon's and Mipha's father. Yeah, he's a bit bulky here, but perhaps 100 years ago he was slimmer like Sidon, and he could be a pretty fun character. Any of the older characters that could have lived through the 100 years time span could work as well, although making them feel unique is key. But that does leave out some characters that we know and love from Breath of the Wild, like Sidon, Riju, Cass, and more. Well, I have an idea to help bring these characters into the present time, well, the Breath of the Wild present time to the Age of Calamity present time. God, I reconstructed that sentence like 7 times and it still sounds confusing. So my thought is to make the main campaign just Link, Zelda, and the champions on their journey in war fighting through the Calamity Ganon, but structured a bit differently than the first Hyrule Warriors, which jump from one level to the next using different characters to progress the story. Give each character their own campaign, so you play as Link going from the start of his journey to right as he is stealed away. Throughout it, you run across missions where you fight with Mipha, so in Mipha's campaign, the same mission happens, only a bit different objectives perhaps. In that sense, we could get Prince Sidon as a playable character. He might not be in the main campaign, but you unlock him and you see his own set of missions to complete. Something like the adventure map could return. I don't see the amount of different maps though, as this is one game's timeline we are dealing with, but it could be expanded significantly. In a lot of those missions, you can choose any character, but sometimes you need certain ones to get hearts or weapons. I don't see the roster being as high as it is in the first Warriors game, but hey, there are plenty of opportunities to give us a nice number of characters to save the land of Hyrule with. Speaking of the adventure map, as mentioned, I truly feel it will return as one large map as the one from Breath of the Wild, and each space is a mission like before, but hidden in the map, the lovely Koroks, and so you must find more to open up different paths or to unlock different items or something along those lines. Making traversing those spaces and completing the missions a task that is not impossible, but challenging. Along with weapon upgrades, without a doubt, costumes will be a thing. This could be a fun way to make the roster feel larger without adding characters. Give Daruk a Darunia costume. I also see them doing what they did with the original Hyrule Warriors, where you could play as Ganon, just wiping out hordes of soldiers. But this time, making this a Guardian mode, where you can play as one of the Guardians, something that honestly seems that would be a really cool side mode. Little more than a distraction, honestly, but it'd be cool to have there. I'd be shocked if DLC didn't eventually come down the line. I don't see them going over it on the 26th, but it will come. More likely than not, adding some adventure mode type things and more characters. Maybe getting crazy and adding something outside the timeline itself. Because it's DLC, it doesn't necessarily have to connect to the main campaign story. Something to prepare yourself for, and well, spoilers, I guess. But the champions die. This game goes over the war where the four lost their lives. Link nearly dies and must be sealed away to save him. When Zelda goes to confront Calamity Ganon and puts him at bay until Link is better and can save Hyrule. This game is gonna end with tears, isn't it? The original Hyrule Warriors had an okay story, but nothing really emotional happened. But Breath of the Wild laid forth the foundation for the heartstrings to be tugged, and I feel it will happen here. The story has to be important here, not something to just skip to get to the hordes of killing. It is the biggest spoiler in the game, honestly. We know the destination where things will end with it being a prequel, and some may say that takes away some of the tension, and I used to think that too. It was an argument I used to use against the Star Wars prequels. But the old sage advice, it is not the destination but the journey. It is how we get these characters from the start of the war to most of their deaths. The defeat of Hyrule's champions, most gone forever, while their last hope is sealed away. We got little glimpses of this in Breath of the Wild, but man, I cannot wait to find out more of these characters. But honestly, I don't expect a ton of stuff on the 26th. Yeah, I know a lot of gameplay footage, but that'll be nothing truly new. A few new characters will probably be highlighted, but in general, it is just exciting to look at the holiday 2020. Super Mario 3D All-Stars, Pikmin 3 Deluxe, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, and of course the crown jewel of games coming out this holiday season, Jurassic World Evolution. I'm not joking. Okay, maybe about it being the crown jewel, but I'm very excited about that game, and I'm really excited about Hyrule Warriors as well. Yes, there are ports in here, but this is honestly a strong lineup, and I cannot wait to jump back into Hyrule as a champion and take on Calamity Ganon. Thank you for tuning into the Nintendo Network. What are your predictions for Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the Discord, and consider helping out on Patreon. As always, this is the Nintendo Network signing off.